Hey guys, how are you? And welcome to another episode of One Guy and One Beer. I am your host, Nick Ostick. Thanks again for checking us out. Um, Excited about today's show. I say that every show, but I really am. Going to be looking at a beer from Wicked Weed Brewing Company out of Asheville, North Carolina. And before we go any further, I want to thank a friend of mine and fellow beer guru, Todd Newberg, who provided us with this bottle. Todd went out to the brewery for one of their special release events a couple of weeks ago and was kind enough to bring this back for me. And given the season, we're late October here, we're finally into fall weather, at least here in the Midwest. And given his generosity, it made sense just to taste it out and share it with you guys. So yeah, it should be fun. So like I said, Wicked Weed Brewing, Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville is white hot right now in the brewing scene. Not only do you have just a ton of small breweries, nano breweries, craft breweries, obviously, but also Asheville's become sort of this epicenter for bigger craft breweries who are looking to establish East Coast hubs. So Asheville now, I think, has New Belgium, Sierra Nevada, Oscar Blues. I know that Deschutes is opening in Roanoke, I think, which I know is not Asheville. But, close proximity. So, that whole region right now for West Coast breweries looking to establish East Coast hubs to get fresh beer to that side of the country, Asheville's kind of the place, which is kind of cool. So, the beer we're doing is called Xibalba from Wicked Weed. It's an imperial pumpkin ale with cacao nibs, chilies, and spices. Pumpkin ales can be a fairly divisive style of beer. I myself can run hot and cold. There's a few that I really, really like and really enjoy and think are just really well made. And then there are others that, go overboard with the spicing or go overboard with the malt, and they're just so sweet and so cloying and so over the top. So I'm curious how this one is going to turn out. Let's see. I'm going to take a look here. They've got a little description. For everything, there is a season and tradition. That's why our pumpkin ale brewed with cacao nibs, ancho, serrano, and habanero chilies with fall spices is brewed once a year. Inspired by the mythos of the ancients, Xibalba is an otherworldly reminder that seasons are fleeting and to be celebrated. Nothing terribly stunning. But yeah, bottled on August 9th, so pretty fresh. Comes in these nice 500 milliliter bottles here, which is, given the ABV, is kind of the perfect serving for this beer. 8.2% alcohol by volume. So yeah, I don't know if you can see it. The label art's kind of cool. It's like ancient Mayan ruins right there, and there's all kinds of, I don't know, not demonic, but slightly frightening imagery on the bottle. But so pumpkin ales, like I said, usually a brown ale base. You see some stouts now, but traditionally, again, those pumpkin pie cooking spices. That's kind of what you're usually getting yourself into there. So let's see what she has to offer. And again, thank you to Todd for providing me with this bottle and allowing me to share it with you guys. A nice little healthy pour there. All right, so let's take a look. Well, not quite a brown ale base, I would say. I mean, it's definitely auburn, sort of a deep chestnut, maybe a ruby color to it. Decent amount of transparency. Light does kind of penetrate it and come through. You can see it to the other side of the glass. Nice sort of slightly, not tan, but off-white head, not quite mocha or espresso colored. But yeah, nice bit of head actually, sort of sudsy, a little soapy. Um, I can already smell it from here, and I'm already getting like those pumpkin pie sort of notes. But yeah, pretty looking beer. Uh, see what she smells like. Might be a little bit cold. I had pulled it out of the fridge not too long ago, so I might need to warm up a little bit. Um, while I warm it, on the nose, total pumpkin pie. Um, the nutmeg, the clove, um, allspice, cinnamon. I was being got some prompt out there. Cinnamon for sure. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. It's starting to open up a little bit now. You're getting there's a slight bit of a. It says cacao nibs, but I'm getting ginger, but there is some sort of chocolate note, but I can't quite. Yeah, I guess maybe more of a like a baker's chocolate, perhaps. Um, don't get any impression of the heat from the chilies though, which is kind of nice. Like I get very little. All the spicing that's there is just those sort of those pumpkin pie like spices, but there might be a little bit impression of heat there from spices, but there's a slight bit of fruitiness to it as well, almost like a dark fruit note, like maybe like cranberry. There's also kind of a. I assume this is from the coconut. There's like a dusty quality to the aroma as well, almost like a maybe well cacanas, but like a cocoa powdery kind of note to it. Yeah, but it smells nice. Oh, all right. See what we get on the palate. Cheers. Medium body. Um, right up front, exactly what's in the aroma: pumpkin pie, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, um, a little bit of chocolate. I mean, if you like think about a pumpkin pie without any whipped cream on it, and if you had like some chocolate shavings, it's what you get right up front. And then on the back end, on the finish, those spices do come in. Those what is it? Anchos, serranos, habaneros. They come in right where you would get sort of a bitter finish from hops, say in a different style of beer. They're there, they're present, but they're not overpowering. I've got a little bit of warmth from the spices, from those different chilies, but it's really really pleasing. I'm really surprised about this. Normally, chili beers or beers that use chilies, not my thing. But this is very well balanced with all that sweetness up front. And even as I'm talking now in the aftertaste, the heat has sort of calmed down. It wasn't intense to begin with, but it's less prevalent. And what I'm left with then is a nice little bit of sort of malty sweetness. Um, wow, this is a fun beer. There is a bitterness there too, aside from the heat. Kind of almost like a coffee bitterness. Not overpowering, not too aggressive, but it adds just a different dimension to it. So if you had maybe like an espresso, that little sort of twinge of bitterness is there at the very back as I'm talking, and as it's sort of still sitting on my palate. Mm, mm. Really, really lovely mouthfeel. It's creamy, soft, with a very sort of round mouthfeel to it. Um, yeah, and I'm kind of blown away. I did not think those spices. which it's kind of like, this is going to be a horrible comparison, but you know how certain salsas you get that kick at the very end, and it's not even a kick; it's just a slight warming to the very back of the throat. That's what I'm getting, and that's how those spices are sort of playing here. And I could see this beer being a wonderful beer to have outside in the fall around a bonfire, just because of that little like lingering spice, that warming aspect at the very back, and you kind of get it a little bit down the esophagus too. Not booze by any stretch, but just, yeah, those spices really add such a depth of flavor. Yeah, and also for 8.2% alcohol, no impression of alcohol whatsoever. It's very smooth. Yeah, it's almost like a Mexican hot chocolate too, the way that those spices are playing. And it's weird, it's kind of like shooting up my spine a little bit, like the way those spices are warming my entire body. Yeah, this is really, really outstanding. Mm. Yeah, and again, I'm just really impressed with so much going on here with pumpkin, and then all the pumpkin spices that accompany that, and then those other, those spices that just bring heat to the party. It's all really well balanced. I kind of wish there was a little more of the cacao, the chocolate. I got it more in the aroma than in the taste. I mean, if I dig for it, it's there. Maybe I wish it was a little more present, but that's a really small beef to have with this beer. Yeah, fun beer. Thank you again, Todd, for gifting me this bottle. This is really, really awesome. Yeah, if you guys can get this, I think it's a brewery-only release. I don't know if Wicked Weed distributes it throughout North Carolina, but if you can get it for the fall, definitely get it. Food pairing-wise, it's kind of tough. I don't know what I would pair this with. Something sweet, because that spice is there, and as I'm talking, it's accumulating like bitterness would, in a more bitter beer. So maybe something sweet to sort of cut through that spice. I could see, oh man, I could kind of see like a chocolate pumpkin cheesecake or a chocolate pumpkin bar. I think I'd want something, like I said, sweeter. I'm not sure how well it would play with savory food, although I could kind of see it with like a stuffing, with like Thanksgiving foods, like a stuffing or some kind of casserole that's Thanksgiving-y. I could see it with that too. Hmm. Yeah, fun beer. Wow. So would I get it again if I was able to? Yeah, for sure. I don't think I'd want more than this serving. And in fact, I could see sharing this. I could see 7-8 ounces per person being, just what you'd want. But yeah, what am I going to rate it? It's hard because it doesn't really adhere to what a pumpkin beer is stylistically. That is actually a style of beer. But yeah, I mean, I'll go 90 plus. I'll go 90, 91. Hell, I could even see going 92, depending on the mood. I mean, so much of beer and is interpretive and depends on your mood. But yeah, 90 plus, 91, easy. Awesome, fun beer. Well, that was Wicked Weed's Xibalba. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you have questions, concerns, drop a comment in the comments section. Feel free to email me at oneguyOnebeer@gmail.com. If you like what we're up to, please subscribe, share the video on Facebook, Twitters, what have you. Oh, sorry, a little burp there from the spice, but not unpleasant. Very, very, very pleasant burp, as burps go. But yeah, so thanks for checking us out, and until next time, guys, go get this beer, and I'm going to keep drinking. Cheers.